Good evening, everyone. When we think of evolutions, we often picture dramatic breakthrough, the invention of well, the steam engine, or the smartphone. But what if I told you that the most powerful driver of evolution isn't inventions, and it's listening? Yeah, listening, something so simple and so human, and yet so overlooked in our pursuit of progress. So today, I want to share you guys with what I call the evolution's blueprint. Evolution's listening isn't passive. Instead, it is one of the most active forces of change. When we listen, we can see unspoken struggle, unmet needs, and unseen perspective. And in the world of technology, this is where real evolutions begin. Not with coding, not with designing, or even creativity, but with deep and intentional listening. So, in industrial engineering, most people will skip the first step, listening. Instead, we build first and then we fix. But what if we reverse the whole process? What if we listen first? And I'm gonna share you my personal story. Last year, I was volunteer with a local NGO supporting people with disability. And I went in thinking that I was there to help, but quickly I realized I was there to learn. One afternoon, I sat with a girl who lost her right arm. And I asked her, what's your daily life like? And I listened. I listened as she described how something as simple as zipping up a jacket or clipping her nail can be extremely exhausting for her. And she told me that I don't want to always ask people for help. I want to do it all by myself. I want to gain independence. And that moment changed me. So I designed a one-handed nail clipper. These creations isn't come from my imaginations of creativity. It's come from the listening to unheard voice. And that experience taught me that the most valuable skill in human-centered design isn't the use of sketching or CAD software. It's come from empathy. And the empathy is rooted in listening. And this principle isn't just applied to individuals like me. Companies involved in this way too, when they are brave enough to listen to criticism. Take Dyson, for example. Decades ago, when they launched their first vacuum cleaner, most customers were frustrated. Their product was expensive, hard to use, and noisy. And the early reviews, to be honest, is brutal. But instead of ignoring all the backlash, Dyson engineers leaned in. They reviewed every single negative feedback, and they communicate face-to-face with their customer. During the process of listening, they redesigned the motor. They reduced the noise and improved the usability. And the result, the Dyson vacuum cleaner became one of the most successful products in the world. And this experience also taught me that listening can transform the product, because all innovations or creations all comes from listening. So here's what I learned. Listening isn't just about changing things. It's about growing in the right directions. And so listening is the root. So listening is the root. So let's think about how nature evolved. Species don't adapt randomly. Instead, they listen in sense to the environment. They listen to the pressures, to the temperatures, to the needs, And then they transform to something that is more resilient and more capable. And technology is actually doing the same thing. So whether it's a billion-line product line or one-handed nail clippers, listening is the beginning. So I will leave you with this. Listening isn't come from the loudest voice in the room, but it's come from the quietest one, the one waiting to be heard. So before we event, we have to ask. And before we build, we observe. And before we solve, we have to feel. Let's not innovate for the innovation's sake, but instead, let's listen, create, and empathize. Here's my evolution's blueprint. Thank you.